We're starting this one.
Okay.
And we're going live.
We're live? We're live now. We're live with Ty. That's what they said they want to name this. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. But welcome anybody that's watching or that will be watching. I'm Ty Bullard with Bullard Automotive, and we are coming to you live today. We picked lunchtime because we figured that maybe you're taking a break. Maybe you're on lunch, maybe you're in your car, maybe you're at your desk, but not necessarily on the clock. So we tried to think through of a good time that maybe we could bring you some relevant information that may, something you maybe never thought about, or something that you maybe didn't realize that could be beneficial and add value to you in your life. So here we are. One thing we wanted to talk about, or I wanted to kind of talk about today, that I think is kind of a little bit unknown in our business and a little bit unknown to the consumer, is this fact that we buy cars. And people look at a car dealership, a new car dealership, and they think, well, you got to go like buy a car from them to like for them to want to buy your car, or you got to trade in your car. That's the only reason they would ever be interested. I don't even know if you're interested in trade-ins. I get people that call me all the time that say, hey, will you buy my trade? Will you buy my car? Can I trade this car? The answer to that question is yes. We can trade just about anything. Now, we have traded in the past. We have traded boats. We have traded motorcycles. We have traded four-wheelers. We have traded Rangers for personal use. I'm just joking. So anyways, but I'll never forget, we traded a 1987 Cedar Point Special Stouter boat that I still actually have today. We bought it from the company, but boat, and the guy traded in on the Jaguar. Obviously, he paid a little more money, but he traded the boat. So we'll look at potentially trading anything. But one thing I wanted to talk about was, if you have a car right now and you are looking for somebody to buy it, like people do they used to do on classified ads. I'm sure you can post your vehicle on Facebook, you can post it on Craigslist, you can post it on these places. But if that's something you're looking to do, we would love to buy your car. You don't have to buy another car from us because we are in the used car business. We are in the pre-owned business, and it's a one way to source our inventory. We buy inventories from off-lease auctions. We buy inventories from the manufacturer, whether it's a corporate car, demos, those kind of things that they're corporate people in. We buy, we obviously acquire cars through our trade-ins. But one thing that we're trying to increase awareness of, and by this we're trying to educate everybody, is we buy cars, what we call, from private individuals. 40 million used cars sold every year. 40 million. There's about 17 million new cars sold a year. There's 40 million used cars sold a year. And I think 60% of those are done individual to individual. So 60% of that 40 million are sold individual. Because I think a lot of times they don't realize that the dealership can buy their car unless they're buying something else. And so I just want to make sure I debunk that myth that you can. We will be glad to look at your vehicle if you have an extra vehicle, if you have just a vehicle that you're downsizing, or you have a vehicle that you want us to buy and you want to go buy some other vehicle somewhere else. We would love to put a value on it and let you know that there's no strings attached with that. We've got staff members that can do that anytime throughout the day, especially on lunch, whenever it may be convenient. But just call us, email us, text us the information, and we can certainly get you value. The only benefit, there's, some people would say, by hearing that, be like, yeah, Ty, I hear you. Yeah, let me come sell you my car, but you're not going to give me as much money as the private individual or as this place. Could be the case, totally. I understand. That certainly could be the case. But one thing we do offer by buying your car is, you're done with it, you wipe your hands clean of it. So once you sell it to us, there's no, you got to live with it. You got to, in 30 days, if the car has a transmission problem and you got a private individual and then you got to deal, they call you and you got to deal with all that. You day one, eliminate that. So your strings are cut from that car as soon as you sell it to us. We take all responsibility and liability from it. Secondly, is we pay you quick. We'll give you a check on the spot. And so we can pay you a check on the spot, and there's no creative financing, there's no down payment. Let me go get my check from my bank. Stuff that people have to do when they're buying a car. We eliminate that. So and sometimes, thirdly, is a lot of times we will be almost, if not the same amount of money that a private individual will give you for a car. Used car values are really at an all-time high. And there's a lot of reasons that I won't spend on this video going through, but there's a lot of reasons that are driving that used car market up. First off, competition's a big one, but so the prices are going up. So what's happening is the wholesale market is really getting closer towards the private party market. The books, the KBBs, the NADAs, the black books, they look at cars in wholesale values, private party values, and retail values. Private party is obviously from Mr. Smith to Mrs. Jones. Those have a transaction. That's a private party, individual to individual. Wholesale is when the individual sells to a dealership like us. That'd be a wholesale transaction. So at the end of the day, a wholesale value. So what I'm seeing is those wholesale values are really getting close. They maybe been here. So I don't even know where my camera is. This hand could not even be in the camera. Sorry. Anyways, here they could be, but they're really condensing. It's really compressing, and they're getting closer. So, I think sometimes we have the stigma. It's like, well, I don't want to give them because I'm not going to get as much money. Could be very true, and in your case, in your specific case, it could be true. But I think it doesn't cost you anything. I think it's worth a few minutes to at least test that theory and to say, hey, I think I can get $20,000 in the private party market, but I think the dealership would only give me 17. Well, we may be able to give you 18.5, and then all of a sudden that convenience becomes more important, and then that check on the first day, and then no strings attached. You're done with it. There can be a lot of value in there that can make up that small difference at that point. So I hope that makes sense. I could be totally not explaining that right, but I do think at the end of the day, the message today was that we are buying cars every day. We get the stigma. Obviously, we're hopefully selling cars every day. That's the goal. That's obviously we want to sell cars. We want to retail cars. But at the end of the day, we got to increase our supply. And so we wanted to come to y'all. We're in this community. There's a lot of cars that are going to change hands, and we would love an opportunity to just buy your car. Regardless if you buy one from us or whatever the case may be, we would love to at least give you a value for what your car is. We can explain it to you. We've got a form that explains it to you. And at the least thing we can be is at least a resource for you. It doesn't cost you. It's a free resource. And so I just asked you to take advantage of it. I think it's something certain that you ought to take advantage of. We're working on some website to make this super easy to where you can just input your information and we can get you a value quick. We're in the works there. We're not there quite yet, but we're working on it. So hang tight, stay tuned. We'll update you on one of these videos soon to hopefully be able to say, hey, if you want to do this, this is a way to make it super easy for you. So in the meantime, reach out to us. We'll have some information on this video. We'll somehow figure out how to get some information on this video to where you can get the information to us, whether it's through email, text, or call. Sometimes it's kind of hard to call when you're in the middle of work or whatever it is, so text and email sometimes can be easier. So we'll get you some information on that. But that's really, you'll see signs all over a dealership. We buy cars. That's what it really means. And so if we can help you, we'd love to. But I hope that maybe gave you a little bit of insight into maybe something you didn't realize we're really want to do or trying to do in our business that I think, in my opinion, we've done a poor job of explaining it because we haven't explained it. We do a great job of telling people how we sell cars, but we have not done a great job of people how we buy cars. And so at the end of the day, hope you're having a good week. I don't know if there's anything else. Do we have any questions or anything? I don't know if there's a question, because I know we're live. I didn't know if anybody had a question in comments. I don't know if it could be 0 people watching. If there is, great. But at the end of the day, if there's any questions, be glad to answer. Shoot your questions into us. If you do have a question about this, I know there's a comment section on this. Haley, I'm looking at Haley, but I'm looking anyway. Shoot your question into it. I'll be glad to answer any question. You can call me. You can email me, text me. I'll be glad to answer any questions. And help you any way I can. So. There you go. That's our first little live with Ty. I know it was probably thrilling, but at the end of the day, we're just here to educate some people and share some stories along the way. So we'll certainly be in touch soon. So thanks so much. How long was that?
It was 9.